why. Now, bear with me, I'm no way going to sit and tell you my story. It's long and lengthy, but I am going to spend 5 minutes just telling you the point in which my business completely flipped upside down. And that was the moment that I decided to actually start working. So I started Stacey 3.5 years ago, but I actually started trying 3 years ago. Prior to that, if I'm totally honest, I came in and I sold.
Thanks, I'm going to go upstairs because I want to listen to it. You're watching telly. That's Nick.
Nick. So I came in, and don't get me wrong, I sold like a good one, but my customer service sucked. I really just wasn't bothered, and my whole thing was just come in, give it a go, see what happens. And actually, I think we all know that if that's the stance that you've got, you're not going to get very far. You're not going to be successful unless you actually decide to make it happen. So for about the first 4 months, I floated. This time 3 years ago, I was a lead consultant. I hadn't been paid at title for 2 months. I hadn't placed an order for 3 months, and I was on tick. And my business completely flipped when we were sitting around our dining table, and 2 years prior to that, I'd promised my son that we would go to Disney World. I promised him. He'd asked me, we'd been previously, he was like, when are we going back? When are we going back? And I said, 3 years, we'll go back 3 years. And I thought to myself, I'm definitely going to be able to save up in that amount of time. 3 years, perfect. I'd even worked it out, and I thought, 20 quid a week, I can save that. Because we weren't skint, we weren't on the breadline, but we didn't have 20 quid a week to save. So I was like, kidding myself, basically, totally kidding myself. Cut to 2 years later, I'm in this situation, sat around a table. I've been with Stacey for 4 months, and my little boy turned around and said to me, Mum, we're going to Disney this year, aren't we, Mum? It was this year, wasn't it? This year? Are we going at Christmas? And I was like, punch in the gut. And right there and then, I was like, oh my God, how the hell am I going to do this? And then bingo, I've actually got a business sitting here that I'm pretty good at, but I just don't bother with, if I'm honest. And that was there and then my decision, actually make an effort, make it happen. And it started the second I made that decision. And I, over the next 2 or 3 months, beavered away, putting money away so that we could go away. Now, not only was that goal then in my mind, but I was then paid at title that month. I hit star in March, superstar in April, paid at title in May, and I hit director in June. So I quite literally, just through that single, oh my God moment, that aha, like lightning moment of, I have now got a reason to work my business. That was my why, and that was my goal. My whole business changed. And so I went from someone who was like skint to now in this position at the moment. I'm 3 years later with an absolutely enormous team with over 1,000 consultants, and I'm an SD, and it is quite literally because I found a reason to work. So I'm not going to delve into that anymore, but moving on from that just slightly, and when we bring Louise in on Wednesday to talk about vision boards, I'm assuming she's going to do it this way, but when you look at a vision board, I imagine my vision board would be like, I don't know, like my dream home, this, that, and the other, but sometimes they can seem so far away. And so just touching back to the reason that I work my business, we were absolutely desperate to move house, but my garden was a state, my house just wasn't up to scratch to move. And so for me, I knew that I was somebody that had to be held accountable. So for us to move house, we had to get our garden done. So I promise this is going somewhere, and I will end in a minute. We had to get our garden done. So I knew that I wouldn't bother doing anything with it unless I actually sort of held myself accountable. So I got a quote, booked it for 2 months' time, and I knew how much I needed to earn, and I worked my arse off for those 2 months so that I had to pay for it in 2 months' time. I had absolutely no choice. And that is just that small step. That's that tiny step in a series of big ones to reaching the point where we will be able to move house. So that's where we come on to talking about goals and stuff. So having your why and having a clear-cut goal is so crucial for your business, and allowing yourself to think big and dream big and think for the big things, the moving house, this, that, and the other. But if you don't break it down into small achievable steps along the way, you're not going to do it. It's going to seem too overwhelming, too far away. It's going to be too out of reach. So that's where the SMART goal system comes in. So I've printed this off of Pinterest. I'm certain that we're going to find something a little bit more attractive, something that's going to work a little bit more. And if not, I will stick this up. It's like, it is what it is. It says SMART down the side. For no one that's heard of, or for anyone that hasn't heard of SMART goals, so SMART is specific, with my plaster finger, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant and time-bound system for setting yourself goals. Now, I'm going to just liken my scenario last year or the year before in the goal that I'd set myself to working in this SMART system here, so that you get an idea of exactly how this will work. So with the specific part of it, your goal does need to be specific. The more specific it can be, the better. So this year I've gone through with a few of my team, asking them what their goals are for the year, what their goals are for the month, and it's to be paid at title, or to, like, that's not a goal. Being paid at title isn't a goal. That's part of the process of reaching the goal and the dream that you want. So this is what's going down on here. Being paid at title is part of the process. Your goal, your actual goal in life, needs to go on here. So for me, the specific goal here was take my family to Disney, December 2018, and that is it. That's as specific as it gets. But for you, it might be, Stacey aside, if it was weight loss, it could be, you could really go into detail on this. Measurable. How can you track your progress? Well, for me, I broke it down in funds. And so if yours is that kind of thing, you do the same thing. You'd break it down week by week, know how much you needed in that amount of time. So it has to be measurable. Otherwise, you're going to completely go off course and not stick to it. Attainable. Is it actually achievable? Are you just literally like I said, so for example, you want to move house? Fantastic. Are you going to do that in the space of a year, or is there a lot of stuff that you need to do before that? So is it move house that goes on here, or is it sort my shitty garden out? Because that's what it was for me. So that's what needs to go on here. Who is going to be your accountability partner? For me, booking that holiday was my accountability partner. I absolutely had to pay it off. There was no way I was letting my deposit slide, and there was no way I was letting my son down. No chance. So that's what went on the attainable part. Is it relevant? Now, is your goal relevant to you? Are you aligned to your goal? Now, for us, of course, because it was our Disney holiday, it's what we wanted as a family, etc. So for us, totally. But you need to make sure that you're aligned to the goals that you're setting yourself, and it's not just like totally random one that you've plucked out of nowhere, and that it's not important to you. It's really got to be something that's massively important to you. And at the bottom, time bound. So everything has to have a time structure if you're setting yourself a goal. Otherwise, you are like a fart in a thunderstorm, literally floating through life with absolutely no reason to actually action your business. So time bound, of course, for us, we knew that we were going in 10 months time, so I had to save X amount per month for me to actually get there. So that is just me likening my situation and my goal to this sheet. I want you guys to do the same. So I'm going to post either this or something that is a little bit better than this in the group afterwards. Fine, a thunderstorm. I know, but it's true, isn't it? You need a sense of urgency in your business, and that time frame is what's going to give you the sense of urgency. So I'm going to post this up in the group now. I really want you guys to think about your why again. Some of you are probably clear cut, totally focused, and know exactly what your why is, and that's fantastic, absolutely brilliant. But for those of you that aren't, maybe revisit it, have another look at it, and take your SMART sheet, goal sheet, and work with it. Actually get it down. Don't just skip this part. It's so important. In fact, that's the reason we've got it at the beginning of the course, because it's the most important part. So yeah, we'll stick that in the group afterwards, and I want that to be something that you're working through. We don't intend on setting a lot of homework throughout this course. There's going to be normally something each week, but really setting goals is what you should be doing this month in January anyway. So if you've not done it, then let's get it done now. Lise, do you want to talk about planning?
Yeah, okay, cool. So I just want to touch on that as well with the SMART goals. I suppose the planning is what comes out of your SMART goals. So once you've got your SMART goals and you've got them down on paper, you know what you're looking for, you know where you want to go, you know where you want your business to go. I didn't do this, I've got to be honest. I did Joe's course back 2 years ago, and I remember when we did this, and I did scoot past this section, and I now look at it this year. Since I probably hit Star Director, I have planned and I have SMART goaled more than I've ever done in my life. And I did SMART goals all the way through college, all the way through uni. But but I never really used them until now. All of a sudden, it's like they've become really important in this business. Well, I probably did use them, but I didn't actually think about how I used them as such. They just sort of happened. So you need to really know what they are to be able to actually start planning. And that's the next step. The next step is about actually working on putting your plan into action. And without knowing where you're going, it makes it really, really difficult to be able to plan week on week or month on month what you actually want to do with your business to reach those goals. You know, to be able to go on holiday, to be able to I don't know, whatever your dream is, buy a new car, buy a new house, or even if it's just to have extra pocket money for your kids, you need to know that what you're actually going to do to get there. Tonight, for example, I'm going to touch on it, is a prime example of why you can't, you know, rely on limited time offers, for example. We don't know they're coming, so we need to plan and know where our PRV is coming for the whole month without being, you know, thinking, oh, an LTO might come this month, so yeah, I'll hit my 2,000. No, you need to be thinking about how you're going to hit your 2,000 outside of that limited time offer. And if we get a limited time offer, it's a bonus. And I think once you get into that mindset, we can try to then put these sort of things that have happened like today into a real positive spin and be like, and I know it sounds really harsh saying, you know, oh, we shouldn't be expecting that PRV and we shouldn't be, you know, relying on it. But really, we shouldn't be. As leaders, we should all be able to say, I know where my PRV is coming from. I know what I'm doing. I've set my targets and I've got a plan. So if you haven't got a plan, this is something that's really, really, really important for you to start doing. I now, at the beginning of every single month, plan for my PRV. These are my short-term goals. So when you come to do your SMART target setting, you'll look at both long and short-term, if you like. I have a short-term goal every single month. So every month I set myself how much PRV I want, how many recruits I'm aiming to get, and what else am I doing? Booking parties. And actually, this is like my little lifesaver. This is, I love this. Whoever designed this needs like a medal. But if you haven't seen it, just to show you, so you can see that I'm actually talking truth. In there at the top, I've got my plan of, look, my 2,000 PRV, my 1 to 2 teamies, book 3 parties, and hopefully improve my active frontline by 50%. That might be a bit wishful thinking in January, but it's down on paper. So therefore, when it's down on paper, I don't know why, but it feels more like a real goal. It's not just something that's floating about in my head. I've actually written it down. I need to be accountable to that.
It's proven, isn't it, that if you write it down, it's more, there's more, so
more chance of actually achieving
successful. If you actually make a goal, you've got more chance of being successful and actually hitting it if you write it down.
Definitely. And I think it's so true. So when you're actually smart planning, smart goaling, smart setting, think about things from short-term goals, long-term. Your long-term is like, what's going to happen in the process of the year? What do you want to see happen in the next year in your business and in your life? Think about those two areas. I think I got my directors to do this, and I got them to actually do their vision boards, if you like. We only did it as spider diagrams. It wasn't anything pretty. And it literally was all the things they want to happen in their personal lives and all the things that they want to happen in their business. And I think seeing the both down, and maybe that's something we could look at. If we could do both, maybe it might work. Sort of, this is me thinking out, you know, like out loud, going off on a tangent, Stacey. But if you can think about both of those things, it gives you a real plan as to where you're going. Because, for example, if you know you want to get to director, you know that you need 10,000 GWV. So there you've got to now start to think about, where's that coming from within my team? And that's whether you've got a team of 2 or whether you've got a team of 20, you're looking at where that next promotion is going to come from. So that's something you need to be sort of considering. You need to be thinking about along the line. And that's why you need to plan. So every month you should have a little plan. You should have written down where you're aiming to go and what you're aiming to do. I think I might have somebody that I need to mute. 2 secs. No, I think we're good. Sorry, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, aren't I, talking about other things. But you need to ideally have a plan in place. Here we go.
Sorry, is that me, Lisa?
Yeah, it is. I'm muted, don't worry. I'm not sure I don't know who that was. I know it's Laura, but that's all. So this is something just to think about within your planning process. Hopefully you need to actually get an active idea of where you're going with your business month on month. It really should be like a set thing. As soon as you hit lead, you're starting to think about how you're going to get your 500. Where's it coming from? what leads have you got, where is your PRV coming from for the month? And that's something that you really need to start putting into place. So once you get the sheet, make sure you're thinking about where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, it makes it very difficult to create those dreams and to actually create those visions and create those boards. So bear with me. I've gone off on a tangent.
No, you haven't.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
The screen went dark. I was like, where's she gone? Okay. I'm just, so we've talked about that. Okay, so one of the other things that I try and do with and hopefully my frontline will vouch for this, is each month once you've got your goal setting in place, you now start to think about planning with your team as well as just planning for yourself, because it's once you've got yourself sorted and you think, right, okay, I know roughly where my PRV is coming from. I've got a couple of parties booked this month. I've hopefully got a recruit come in. My sales have started to come in. Yes, I know roughly where my 500 is coming from, because I always have that in mind. I want my 500. I want my 500 in the first 15 days. Why? Because all of our newbies have to do shooting star in the first 15 days that they join their business. So I think to myself, well, actually, I treat myself like a newbie every single month. I want my first 15 days to get that 500. That's what I go for. I think if I'm asking them to do it, I've got to do these things. You've got to lead from the front, and you've got to show that you're doing it as well. So by the 15th, I want my 500 PRV every single month. Now, the question for you guys is, how are you going to help your team to actually work towards those same sort of goals? Are you helping your team members to sort of say, look, what's your goals? Where do you want to be? Where does your 500 PRV come from? Because if they're also going for their 500, it makes it easier for you if you're trying to promote. And this is the mindset I suppose you've got to get into, is if I want that next promotion, what do I need for it, and how am I going to get there? What's the path? How am I going to get there? And I really need to work with my teamies to make sure that's happening. Did you want to add anything on that, Stace? Like that planning bit? Put you on the spot.
No, not really.
No?
Uh,
Yeah? That's
no.
sort of where we're aiming for this, aren't we?
Yeah, you've covered it.
Cool. So once you've got that plan, as I say, you should be working with your frontline. Message them. I've got a little WhatsApp message, not a group. I message them all individually, and I send them a little message to sort of say, like, what's your goal for this month? What are you aiming for? Now, you might have, I'm going to talk as if you've got a relatively fair sized team, but I know some of you have only got a team of 2. I'm not ignoring the fact that some have got a 2, some have got a 20. I'm just trying to make it broaden for everybody. What you also want to do is have that promotion in place, set it there. Right, I want lead, for example. Hopefully you're all at lead, actually. I want star or superstar. I need my 6,000. Where's my 6,000 going to come from? Well, if I'm aiming for 2,000, between my 5 teamies, they've got 4,000, get my maths right, 4,000 PRV, or not PRV, 75% of that, left to get between them. Then you set them a little goal. This is what I would do. I would be setting them a goal to say, right, you need 750 PRV each. I think it's a bit more than that, but I'm not a mathematician, and the girls will be laughing, going, the girls that know me go, yeah, we know that you're not a mathematician. I'm really not. So however much PRV that the rest of your team is, you can split it up between them. So if you've got, let's say, 6 teamers that are active every single month, work out how much PRV you need between those 6. If anyone else brings in any extra, bonus. That's a bonus. Think of that as a bonus. You work with those team members that at the moment are actually plan with the team members that want it. Plan with the team members that want to push forward. Because, we've all got team members. I've got teamies that I could say to them till the cows come home, 500 PRV, and it just will never happen, because they like doing their little 200 and they're quite happy doing that. So you've got to know who wants pushing and who doesn't want pushing. I think that's quite important from the start.
And that said, you can't, of course, it's totally true, but you can't always rely on the team that you've got. So it has to come from you. Your growth has got to come from you as well. If you've got a team of 4, that's not to say that they're always going to perform the way that they're performing now. They may not all have the mindset that you are. They may not all be the rock star that you are. I made that mistake a long time ago in my business, where I had a solid team of like 30 frontline, and I thought that was it. And they say that the team that you hit lead with, or the team you hit star with, won't be the team that you hit director with, etc. And it's true. And it's tough when you're your a couple of maybe your frontline drop off and leave, but the fact of the matter is that you can set them the goals, you can carry on doing it that way, but you have to continue to grow. You've got to continue. You can't just think, right, I've got 5 teamies to make up the rest of it. You've got to bridge that gap sometimes. And if you bring 2-3 new people in that are hitting shooting star every month, that's 1,500 of it made up. So you've got to focus on growth as well.
Definitely. Yeah, I love that. Good point. So as we go through this process as well, one of the things that we want you to start thinking about, because obviously we're now talking about, you know, setting goals, you're working with your team members, you're having those conversations. And if you're not having those conversations already, this is where you need to start. If you are having those conversations and you're getting nothing back, you need to recruit a new team. It's time to go and grow a new team. Find, sponsor some newbies. You should all be having regular conversations. Now, by regular conversations, I'm not saying ask one person a day. I'm saying you ask 6 people a day. You have, you know, 5 or 6 conversations every day, or at least you put it in 5 or 6 different places. I probably have posted more about joining my team recently on my social media, more than I ever have. But I said this to my group the other day. I've put it on my stories recently. I put a poll quite often with a yes or no. Are you interested? I've had more interest of that than I have of just asking people. But again, it's another format of conversation. It's another avenue. So you need to be looking at all the different ways that you can grow your team and recruit your team. If they're, well, you should be doing that anyway, but if they're definitely giving you a blank, you're drawing a blank, you're getting nothing back from them, none of them are interested in pushing forward, then it's time to find those new teammates. It's time to find those rock stars. Because I remember listening to, I can't remember who it was I was listening to now, but it will come back to me. You only need one rock star to change your entire business. And you know, every single one of you that are sitting in this group now, I'm looking down all of the names and I'm like, I know all of these people. You're all rock stars in your own right. Every single one of you in here has smashed PRV, brought in new teamies. You know, you're running before you can walk, a lot of you, and it's incredible. So that's what I, you know, if you can do it, you can find somebody else. Oh, Holly, gonna meet you, hon. So then sorry, I've lost my train of thought. So the next sort of thing is to start to think about, at this beginning part, is what sort of leader you want to be. What sort of leader do you think that you are going to be? Now, I'm not saying what leader are you. I'm not saying, you know, what leadership skills have you got, but I want you to start thinking about, and as we go through this process, you can start to think about where you see yourself in that leadership role, because probably some of you don't see yourself as leaders yet. You think, oh, I'm not a leader. Well, you are. As soon as you've got a team, you are leading that team. Okay, you become responsible for them. Everybody that's in your downline, they are your team. They become your little group, and it's your responsibility to make sure that you're giving them information, to make sure that you're you know, sharing LTOs with them, to make sure that you're setting goals with them if they want it, to make sure that you're pushing them forward. So it's your responsibility to be that leader. So you need to start to think about where you see yourself. What things do you not want to do as a leader? You might see, Stacey talked about this earlier today, there might be things that you see us do and you might think, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be, actually, I like what they do in that respect with X, Y, Z, but in that respect, I really don't. I'm really not overly keen on that, or I would do that differently. This is your opportunity to be able to really put your spin on things. And if you're not sure how to do that, hopefully this is what we're going to help you to do. We are going to help you to be able to really push forward and, you know, look at all the different ways that you can actually work with your team. So just some of the things that I think, some of the qualities, I mean, the list goes on. I think we're friends. We are a shoulder to cry on many times. We are, you know, trying to inspire you. I'm going to say trying, because I don't know if we inspire everybody, but hopefully we inspire a group, and that's why we're where we are at the moment. So you're looking to be a motivator. You're looking to, you know, be the mediator, definitely between teamies when they've had that falling out. You become that person that's that middle ground that's trying to make sure it's all okay. You know, you're the person that they're gonna vent to when an LTO all goes completely tits up, and you know they're feeling completely stressed and they're suffering with anxiety, and you become that outlet, if you like.
And a counselor.
it's sort of looking to sort of see, where do you see yourself in that picture? Where do you see where you're going? And, you know, what else as well? What do you need support with in that respect? Because some of you might be like, I just am not a people person. I've got no time for, like, my team is crying on my shoulder. But everybody leads slightly differently. You know, Stacey would probably say, you're tough love, aren't you, Stacey? Good, tough love. Whereas I'm probably a bit fluffier than Stacey. But
actually,
I am a little bit fluffier, but it works. Every way that everyone leads differently works, and you will all lead your teams very differently probably to what we do. But hopefully during this course you're just going to receive lots of skills and lots of ideas, and then you can deliver them to your team in any way that you see fit that works for you. You know, there's no right or wrong way to do this. You know, how we do it, I go live in my group nearly every single day, every other day. I go live in my group a lot, but I don't know a lot of leaders that probably do that. You know, everybody, that for me is because I can't be bothered to type, and I get achy thumbs, and I get pins and needles here. Yeah, I'm getting old. But so for me, it's hit the live button, chat. I prefer you to see my face and to see the real face, especially when I'm angry and when I, you know, but that works for me, but it might not work.
I think a lot of people create the leader that they are through what's been missing on their journey and what's been missing in their upline. So they will know what they didn't have, the support that they've not had, and what they wish they'd had, and then they create that in their business and in their team. And that's actually a really good way to run, really.
Definitely. And I think that's the same for your business. I think you should be looking at your business always and being like, okay, where do I put my focus? Well, actually, you put your focus on the bit that's not working. You write it all down, all the things that you're really good at. And I put my focus on the bits that are not working. So for me, I know it always looks like I'm really organised, but I'm really not. It looks like I am, but honestly, I'm really not. And, you know, systems for me have never really been something I can stick at for love or money. And that's the same in my life. Yeah, that is, I remember, this is really sad, but I left my hair straighteners on once, burnt a hole in the carpet. And my mum said to me, you know that you can create a habit by doing something 20 times. And I was like, but so what I did was every day I set an alarm on my phone for 20 days, and I put my hair straighteners away after I'd done them. I did it, and I now make sure it now happens every day. It's really weird, but it happens every single day. So even as a leader, you've got to create habits, and that's completely random. But what I'm trying to say is, you can fix any problem.
You can change it.
Yes.
You are literally one step away from a completely different outcome in your life.
100%. So I'm trying to use my hair straighteners as an example. It works for me in my head. So obviously we're almost drawing to the end really of what you want to say.
Yeah, we are actually. No, only in that when you're looking at the sort of leader that you want to be. So obviously coming away from today, what we want you to do is just to start putting a thought to it. You don't actually have to sit and make a plan about it or anything else, you know, but by the end of what we're doing here over the 12 weeks, we want you to really kind of be clear and have a real focus on the way you want to lead. But oh my God.
Man.
Man. Did I just see a naked man? I don't know.
And she's like, oh my God.
There was somebody naked on the all consultant call that time. I don't know if anyone saw. Anyway, never mind. So we want you to be kind of focused, but by the end of it, on how you want to lead your team. And from personal experience, it's leading by example. You cannot push from the bottom, whether you've got a team of 2, whether you've got a team of 20. You cannot be at the bottom of a mountain shoving them up and shouting, do this, do that, go. You know, it doesn't work. It's much easier if you're stood at the top and saying, follow me. This is how we do it. And exactly like you said, Lisa, you're live in your group 24/7. You're always in there showing them how to do it. Yeah, but it works for you, and that's right. And they just follow your lead, and that is the most simple form. You're up there, they follow you, and you've done it working smarter and not harder, and that's why you're successful, and that's why it works. So it's probably something to think about.
Just to add on that is, think about, oh no, it's gone, it'll come back to me in a minute, sorry. Brain, because your brain. So as we draw to an end, I know this was a relatively short one, some weeks are going to be longer. We will warn you when we get into systems, that's possibly a lengthy call, so we will pre-warn you. I'm thinking as well, we will come back to this at the beginning of each month, and at the end of each month we will talk about an evaluation of the month and how we've got on and how that's impacted your SMART goals. So hopefully once you get that sheet filled out, you're going to have something that you can refer to and refer back to it. If you struggle with doing it, then come to us and just ask us, pop us a little inbox or stick it in the group, and then we can all help with if you're struggling with actually writing your SMART goals. But as I say, as a leader, this should be something that you're doing every single month, and it shouldn't just be, I could wear the jumper that says I wing it, life, business, you know, motherhood, the lot.
Fly by the seat of your pants.
Massively.
Yeah,
But now when it comes to my business, actually, I'm much more focused about where I'm going, what I want to achieve, and what I want the outcome to be, purely because I've seen the money. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, but it's only sustainable for so long. I have winged it for so long, and do you know what? You can't keep that up. You burn out and it doesn't work. So if you want a sustainable business, you need to plan. You need to have systems in place.
Definitely. And I think as well, like, obviously, Stacey, how big is your big group now?
What, my actual group?
Your whole group.
1,000 odd.
Exactly.
I
And I think mine's just about almost hitting 500. And I mean, that's big enough for me. So you need these systems and you need these things in place now before your teams get so big.
Absolutely.
So I actually wish I'd done this right at the beginning. And I think I would maybe have done things a little bit differently along the line, because I'm only just putting these systems in place. Not to say that I didn't get to, I'm here where I am and I'm chuffed where I am. But so this is a tool. Not everybody gets these leadership groups. We're, you know, to have this tool, use it, you know, really, really.
I would have given anything to have had this.
Yeah, we did.
Anything.
I know I did class of 20, Joe's class of 2018 was absolutely brilliant. It was tough going, but it was brilliant. But that was more about the basics of a consultant, not so much like this sort of leading.
Yeah, and that's always been
the director's work.
Yeah,
it's definitely something that I say that you don't get.
Because you go through the motions of being, like we were saying this earlier, you have to learn how to be a consultant, then you have to learn how to be a sponsor, and then you have to teach your teamie how to be a sponsor. And there's that gap that's missing where you have to learn how to actually be a leader. And sometimes you can get to director and you don't have a clue how to lead a team. So I think this course is going to be invaluable to everybody here, especially if that's your goal.
We're buzzing about it. I've been driving Stacey in her inbox. I must admit, she's like,
have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? Have you done it yet?
teacher.
Sorry, miss.
Sorry. But okay, so hopefully you've taken something away from this. Hopefully by the end of this call, everybody knows what SMART targets are. Hopefully we know the difference between a long-term and a short-term goal. And now it is about you thinking about how it's going to impact you. Where are you going with your business? So it's now going to be over to you, but we will get something uploaded, not tonight. We'll give you all a little rest. Go and all relax after tonight. I know that I'm going to drink the rest of my water, go and eat some yogurt. I'm going to go and have a puppy cuddle. I would bring him on to show you, but I think he's asleep. Should I go and get him? Want to see him?
Yeah, go on.
See him?
Yeah, go on. Mine's at puppy school at the moment. So we got a new pup 3 weeks ago. His name's Cooper. He's a little lab, but so my vet's called and said they do like basically a new mum group where you can bring your puppy along, get him weighed, introduce him to other pups. So he's gone there for an hour this evening, so he'll be back in a minute. Oh, look. Oh, my God.
Here he is, everybody. This is Dexter.
But how soft are his ears, though?
Oh, he's all soft because she bathed him today.
Oh,
he's really cute.
His face.
Hold on. Come forward.
Hello, everybody.
Oh my God. He is literally the cutest puppy. What is he?
He's a Cocker Spaniel.
Oh, he's going to be crazy.
Yeah, he's going to be absolutely loony.
You are going to have your work cut out. Oh, look. Enjoy that.
If I'm not, available next week, you know why.
Yeah, I'm here. Right, okay.
Right, lovely. So we're going to love you and leave you in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, hello. Oh, yeah. Does anyone have a question?
Thanks, girls.
Let's do a Q&A quickly. Let me just unmute you all. Hold on.
Don't all speak at once, though.
Unmute all. Oh, here you all are. Caroline, can I just ask, was your husband naked?
No, I promise you he wasn't naked. Got his top off.
I missed it. I didn't see it.
I promise, I'm so sorry. He asked me what I was doing. I went, here, look, and I showed you.
That's hilarious.
Imagine that.
Love it.
Oh, it was a camera.
Yeah, someone was naked on the all ones, wasn't they?
Yeah. Not naked, promise.
Let him up. Has anyone got any questions? Is there anyone that's like, just to ask a question? Just speak.
Sorry, I was late.
I don't think so. Sorry, yeah, I was late as well, girls. Sorry.
This is good. I'm glad no one's got questions, actually. It must mean we've covered it, and then, you know.
Well, I probably would have questions. No. My questions will probably be answered when I watch it back, I'm assuming.
Yeah. More than likely.
Right, well, pick your questions up in the group then afterwards if you want to know anything, but use the group, utilise the group.
Thanks, girls. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.